Sadly, brothers and sisters, we're living in a system where people reward evil and also punish good. Most people, they value more evil in our days rather than valuing good. Most people in our days, they want to see people who do good and publish them as a good people. If you're an evil doer, people do a propaganda for you and say that you are a good man, you are awesome person. They will show people that you are somebody that they need. But if you speak the truth or if you do good, you are the first person to be hated by the system. And what is the system that I'm talking about here today? We're going to learn more about the system of this world and how the world operates in our generation. And what is the expectation for us as human? We have government all over, different governments. This is not one government. But the things that they stand for is exactly the same thing. They fight for rewarding evil and punishing good. If you go to many prisons all over the world, you'll see that innocent people, they are in prison and the criminals are outside and continue to commit crime. That's why we complain that the crime is not stopping or is not even reducing, because the system value criminals and they hate people who do good. So the entire system of this planet is corrupted, whether it's police, whether it's law enforcement, whether it's the government, whether it's the president. You can check any department that you can name. It has been corrupted. Not even the church that you can trust and say, well, I will run to the church. This is where I can find my peace. But to be honest with you, all these systems has been corrupted by the system of the world. When I speak about the system of the world, I mean the devil, I mean Saturn, I mean people like Freemason and Illuminati. These are the people who corrupt the entire world, the evil government that we have on this planet. Now, if you go, for example, in hospitals as well, you'll find out that doctors are interested in killing people and take parties from their bodies so that they can sell those parties and make money. But this is very unhuman. This is not what we expect from the hospital. If you go to the government, somebody may accuse someone else falsely and there is no proof, but the government may create a proof just to stop this person if this person is a threat to the government. If you speak against the government that they're not doing well, anyway, you can be arrested and you'll be put in prison and there won't be justice being served. Now, if people can go to justice and they don't get justice, where do you expect people to go? If somebody knows that they can commit crime and there is no consequences attached to that, what do you think that it can stop crime if there's no punishment for crime? The only reason why we have government is because people can be punished. In the book of Isaiah, the Bible talks about, people will be turning evil to good and good to evil. And they will call bitter sweet and sweet bitter. You can see that people who are trying to do an honest living, they get more trouble by the system. I mean, maybe the traffic officers, maybe the policemen, maybe the law enforcement, whoever, any agent of the government can stop a man who's trying to make a living, who's not committing a crime. Let's say somebody's selling their stuff on the street and they don't have a job, that's why they're there. But you will see they will always be kicked out by the maybe police or law enforcement or whatever. This is very evil. If you speak lies, you are more likely to have good friends. You'll be connected with people who have money and power and influence simply because you are evil yourself. But if you're a good person, people will always criticize you and speak evil and bad about you as well. Self-love has taken place as well on this planet. If you look at, for example, the Bible in the book of 2 Timothy chapter 3, it talks about, people will be lovers of themselves in the last days. We can see that people are ready to create war or even support rebels so that they can kill millions of people and then they can get maybe minerals. This is the issue of the Democratic Republic of Congo. And the same issue applied to Southern Sudan and many other countries where you see war is because their government want to steal minerals. For example, if you look at France, is condemning people in Africa that has more than 2 terms of power, presidents. And they say this is wrong because those people were not serving their interest. But those who serving their interest has been in power for over 30 years, and yet they're not complaining. They always please and also clap for these people because they're benefiting from this person. My brother and sisters, we cannot continue to be fooled by the system. I want you to use your conscience. I want you to use your mind and also condemn evil when you see evil being saved, and also reward good when you see good is being saved. And it doesn't matter who commit crime. If it's crime, you need to be able to expose. That is what God wants from you. And if you know somebody who commit crime, you should not keep quiet. You should say, this person is committing crime. Speaking is good because it can help people to learn from you. And I want to encourage you today to be able to speak out without any fear of you being arrested or you being killed, because even if those people don't kill you, you're still going to die anyway. You need to be able to give up your life, as the Bible teaches, to be able to save others. You cannot say, well, because the trouble is not coming to me, therefore I don't really care what is going to happen for those people. As long as my kids and my family are safe, I don't really care how people are dying. Think about if this situation was happening to you. If this situation was happening to your mother, your brother, your sister, your wife, your husband, how will you feel? So I want to say to you that wrong is wrong, even if all people support it. And right is right, even if no one supports it. So you can't say because the system already value evil or reward evil, then you say, well, it's okay, I'm just going to mind my own business. Then that you are unloving. That is not love. You need to be able to expose evil when you see it. Now, let's continue looking the system of this planet. If you look at all the rich people on the planet, these people also have struggled to get money, even though they did it in the wrong way, but they work for this money, and yet they don't have peace. Don't think that if you have money, if you don't have money, you can have peace, because people who have money, they desire to be like you. If you go on the social media, you realize that most people, especially celebrities, who sell their soul to the devil for fame or power or money or anything, they end up in regret. Their hand will be touching God, but their heart is suffering with, stress and many other things that they have been forced to do in their life because they are not free. So when you look at them, you will see, well, these people are living a luxurious life. They're doing the right thing. They're eating what they want. They're going where they want to go. They're driving a car that they want to drive. They're living in a place where they want to live. But I guarantee you one thing, that these people regret and suffer more than you, even though you don't have money. I think we should be able to be content to what we have, and we should not value money than justice. We should not value money than humanity. We should not value power than people. Most people, when they see things are going wrong, let's say somebody kill your brother, you say, well, because there's no justice, I will also revenge myself. And you end up also shedding blood because of someone who killed your brother or your sister. But that is not love. We should love one another. That is what the Bible says. The Bible even commands far to say that you should love your enemies. So as a Christian, I want to advise you today that you need to be able to be in a position where you risk your life to make the life of others better. For example, the Bible says in the book of Matthew that whoever loves his life will lose it, but whoever wants to lose his life for his sake will find it. You can be killed in this world, but I guarantee you, you're going to get a reward in heaven. No matter the sacrifice you make, no matter how people view you, and don't think that people will always agree with you. People can disagree with you, but you need to be able to stand for what is right. Fight for what is right. Do what you believe is right. Do what you're commanded to do. Don't be fooled by the propaganda and the evil system of this world. And also forget your God and start committing crime. Start, living ungodly. Start living in a way that displeases your Maker, your God, the one who is going to reward you with eternal life or eternal death. Remember that the life that we have here today is a life that we have as a temple life. When we die, that is when our justification will come upon us, or our judgment will come upon us. God will judge you based on what you've done. Don't think that there's anything that you have done that you will get lost. Everything that you do today, tomorrow, anyway, God is going to repay you back for that. So you need to be able to take the courage and stand and speak the truth and do what is right. If we continue looking, things are happening on this planet. There are people who always talk about other people. If you see, for example, a minister anywhere get arrested, it's not simply because these people stole, but because they offend the system. Don't accept any accusation you see on the social media, like this person have done this person have done this. And some even of the proof can be fabricated because you don't know the intention of the people who arrest that person. You understand? So you have to really look at what really the Bible says, because even somebody's accused and you're not sure, you cannot condemn them and say, well, they are criminals, because you don't know. You don't have that information. The people who comes with, the evidence, they can fabricate that evidence. And maybe they have more power that nobody can touch them or even see that those evidence were fabricated. And well, the justice will reward them and punish this person. Now, think about this way. If we have justice on this planet, will we have problem of crime as we have today? If we have the police people, will we have crime as we have crime today? Just an example, if you had that, like a country have 50% or 80% of Christians in their country, will they have crime really in their country? The answer is no. And then they will tell you that this is a Christian country. And look at the number of crime. Look at the number of evil that is allowed there. And I'm not talking about crime as somebody just come with a gun and kill you, but also somebody can kill you mentally. Somebody can come also and kill you spiritually. Somebody can kill you in a different ways, but you have to understand that crime is crime. Somebody who sells drugs is committing a crime. Homosexuality, according to the Bible, is a crime. Stealing money from anyone is a crime. Speaking lies or taking false oath to someone is a crime. And I'm not talking about the crime of this world, but I'm talking about the crime against your maker. Committing abortion is a crime. And when you look at all these things, we value them in our system. Today, you can dress the way you want, but you as a child of God, you can never dress as you want. You need to dress with the fear of God. Somebody will say, well, God does not look at the outside. He only looks at the inside. Really? God said, whoever destroy his temple, whom that person he will destroy. So if you destroy the temple of God, which is your body, you see that God will destroy you. Of course, God see the intention inside of the reason why you committing a sin or a crime. But that does not mean that he does not punish the crime that you commit, whether you did it willingly or unwillingly. That's why the Bible says that you need to walk in the Spirit so you won't be able to fulfill the desires of the flesh. My brothers and sisters, I want to encourage you today to be able to stand for the truth. Live according to what God commanded you to do. Don't be fooled with the system, because everything was created to make us slave of the system. Think about the bank. Today we see in different countries now, they're imposing people that they should have digital ID. And if you don't have the digital ID, you can't have a bank account, you can't work, you can't do anything. It's because when you have a digital ID, it's easy for you to be controlled. Let's say if you go to strike against the government, even if they take a picture, if you have a digital ID, they can detect you from even your eyes or maybe your voice, whatever, because it's all digitalized. So you can see that where we're going is a very bad place. And people have no freedom anymore because all the freedom have been taken away from them. You can get in the country when they say, well, we have a freedom of religion. But they put some regulations to other people that you can't worship in this way. You can't do it this way. You can't preach in this way. You can't open a church in this place. And that is not a freedom of religion. When you say freedom, any person can worship what they want to, the way they want to, and how they want to. That is a freedom of religion. But when there's regulations which is imposed by the government, you're no longer having a freedom of religion. We need to be able to fight the evildoers of this world. We need to be able to fight the system. We are not enemies against each other, but we are enemies to the system. Which system? The devil's system. The system that rules this planet. And I want you to look at it in that perspective. Seeing your brother and sisters like people who have been used by the system. And that's why the Bible commands us to love our neighbors the same way we love ourselves. Because it's not all about them. It's also about the system that pushed them to commit those crimes. And I'm not saying that people, when they commit crime, they should not be blamed. As I said earlier on, they should always be blamed. If somebody do evil, they should be punished for their evil doing. And if somebody do good, they should be rewarded for good, but not the other way around. Let us show love. Because some people, they think that this world belongs to them because when they commit crime and they got rewarded by the system, they do all kind of evil against other people because they're untouchable. No one can touch them. They have influence. They have connection of higher positions. And they can do anything. They can commit crime in the morning. And in the evening, you see them walking on the road or on the street. Because even the justice will clear them out. And they say they were found innocent. They were not guilty. So I want you to be in the sight of God. Don't be fooled by the system. Fight the system as much as you can. And also see what you're commanded to do and live according to that. Remember, every time you keep quiet, you contribute to any evil that you see around you. And any time that you see somebody get abused or mistreated and you keep quiet, you are partaker of that evil. That's why the Bible says that if a watchman see a sword comes and blow not a trumpet and the people are not warned, those people have been taken away from their iniquity by their blood. God will require that in the watchman's hand. So I want you to consider that any action, any movement, any decision that you take, you're going to be judged on that in the last day. When the judgment of God comes, everybody will be judged for every good thing and every bad thing that they did when they were alive. Every opportunity, every privilege that God gives you, God will ask you one day, what have you done? Or how have you used what I've given to you? So be careful even when you are appointed to a position of power. Don't abuse people that you control. Don't abuse people who are under you. Because though you can have influence and power and you win, but there is a day you'll be judged for eternity. And I want you to remember that this life that we have today is temporal. All of us, we're going to die and leave this planet. That's why I will encourage you today and forever to live every day as it was your last, living according to the fear of God. And the fear of God is to depart away from evil. Thank you so much for taking your time and watch this video, and God